Semen retention gives you a lot of benefits that are truly life-changing. Let's jump straight into it. 1. Female attraction. Yes, the stories are true. Female attraction will increase, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I'm not saying all women will be attracted to you like a magnet, but also I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it.
You guys might remember, but in November, I did like a double whammy video upload of covering the NoFap movement, from like the politics of it to just like the really, really bizarre beliefs a lot of them have about the power this stuff gives you. Now, in those videos, specifically the ones more about what these guys think it does for you, I focused on how they believe not releasing your seed really gave you like these crazy benefits, but I mainly focused on like these aspects to do with, I guess, like the quantum realm and like really, really bizarre stuff.
But the reason why most videos fall short is that they do not adequately explain how should you transmute your semen energy into other creative outlets. This energy is literally the gateway to all progress, spiritually and materialistically, and it is all mental. He calls the process going into the unified field or quantum realm. And each and every possibility exists in quantum realm.
I always wanted to come back and talk about this again, and I wanted to specifically focus on retention. I'm going to be calling it retention. I don't want to say the other word too much in this video. The angle I'm going to take today to start with is how these people think doing this will help men pick up women, because as one of the titles says, women can smell men who do NoFap. I mean, that doesn't really sound like a positive thing if women can smell out men who do NoFap, but we're going to get into the ridiculousness of that today, and then for the second half we're going to actually look at the subreddit and look more at these people who believe doing this gives you all sorts of benefits. And it's actually really crazy how many benefits these guys think it gives you. It literally sounds like the cure to all your insecurities and all your ailments, but as you're probably already realizing from me even talking about it, it's not based in any science, which these guys even admit. It's just based on personal anecdotes, so it's probably some sort of placebo effect and obviously just general BS. And it all stems from, like I believe with many of these things like sigma males, omega males, NoFap, from very, very fragile masculinity in men, which is often a result of like patriarchy and also like toxic masculinity, that men turn to really weird stuff like this to try and get some either meaning in their life or pursue some goal that will help solve a lot of their issues. And of course, like the underlying part of all this pseudoscience is it really opens you up into believing in medical misinformation if you seriously believe this type of thing will cure so many of your problems. So we're going to look at all of that today. I guess it's like the final part in the trilogy, but before we go any further, you guys often say you forget to like the video. Please like the video if you like what you're watching, and perhaps leave a comment to help this video in the algorithm. The support means a lot. Also consider following me on social media at the Kavernacle on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, I want to build up as many $1 to $3 patrons as possible, and the benefits of joining my Patreon at the moment are getting my Nintendo Switch friend code and getting access to the private patrons Discord server. If you join the Patreon in the next couple of weeks, please give me a message on Twitter and on Instagram. Like I said in the other videos this week, I've had trouble sending links out on Patreon. That should be solved by the end of the month, but at the moment, please give me a message. Also, subscribe to my second channel, the Kavernacle Extra, as well. Now, let's move into the video. So I thought what would be fun, just like what is fun with the sigma male, omega male videos, is to look at videos promoting this stuff. Now, seriously, if you type in retention into YouTube, this might even be another video. There are so many YouTube like gurus and influencers who promote this stuff, and it gets millions and millions of views and people claiming it all works. And we're going to get into people claiming it all works later. But I want to start with a couple of videos I've found, and the first two, of course, you guys will be familiar with this now, are done in some very, very good AI voice. It sounds very realistic, but it's clearly reading the script, and it's really funny, a lot of the dialogue, because it comes across very, very unnatural. So I don't want to play too much of this one, but one from Improv Nest, Why NoFap Attracts Women. So let's take a look at this quick.
You have probably wondered why NoFap makes you more attractive to women. In this video, I am going to explain why this happens. There isn't a lot of science behind retention. There isn't a lot of science behind retention. There isn't a lot of science behind retention. We have a study that shows a large surge of testosterone after 7 days of abstinence. Other than that, there are no studies on the long-term effects of retention. We do have thousands of online anecdotes and stories explaining the massive benefits of retention though. Confidence, energy, magnetism, and much more.
So I'm glad we started this video on the right foot, that people promoting this stuff just straight up admit there is no scientific evidence for this stuff even being real. It's just based on personal anecdotes. So that's a nice way to start a video, in that people promoting this stuff as stuff that will get women attracted to you admit there is absolutely no evidence it works. But moving on from the knowledge that these people don't actually have any evidence this works, gonna move on to another video by BroQ13, nearly has 100k views. 10 crazy benefits of semen retention. This video made me like literally laugh out loud. I'm gonna play you some of the best bits, and then we're gonna discuss like the absolute like insanity of believing retention equals you having, I guess, this lifestyle.
Yes, the stories are true. Female attraction will increase, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I surround myself with strong-minded people that are all on a huge streak. They all say the same. I'm not saying all women will be attracted to you like a magnet, but also I'm not denying it. Your dominance, confidence, boost in testosterone, and glow will result in more women flirting with you. Also, more women will stare at you and want your validation. When I look back, I noticed a big difference with women being attracted to me. But always in the moment, I didn't value it. Because now, I don't need the attention of women anymore to feel like a real man. One thing I immediately noticed when I first practiced semen retention is the huge increase in energy. Some days it almost seems that I can't get tired. When I'm done training, I still have a huge amount of energy left. So now, I often train 2 times a day just to release the extra energy. I noticed 14 days in that my confidence increased enormously. I used to be a little self-conscious. I often thought to myself, what do these people think about me? Do they like me? Now, I honestly don't care. My social anxiety is gone too. I noticed a lot of hair growth on my whole body. I couldn't grow facial hair before NoFap, but in the year I began with semen retention, my facial hair started to appear. My voice used to be very high. Now, it's not that high anymore. I noticed that a lot of men and women react more positively when they hear my voice. Men respect me more, and women are more impacted by my words. I used to be quite depressed. It was hard for me to come out of bed. Now, I'm almost always happy. Even when I'm surrounded by people, I can get excited and passionate again.
So I laughed out loud just watching that right now, because the way it so confidently says like these benefits are real is just like so funny to me. But there you will get the sense that this type of thing is like a magic pill for everything. But also I think it's quite telling a lot of the stuff that's listed. So apparently, when you have this thing, women are just really naturally attracted to you just from you doing this. Like, there's nothing else to it, really. And also, I find it funny they mention stuff like growing facial hair. Again, it just reeks of absolute insecurity, because how is facial hair really indicative of being manly? And how does this retention help you grow more facial hair? Like, is there any evidence of this? Of course, there's not any evidence of this. But a lot of men, because of the way I guess we view masculinity, feel emasculated if they cannot grow facial hair. So if you do retention, you will suddenly grow facial hair, be great with the ladies, have loads of energy for working out, and just be an all-round better person. Your depression will probably be cured, your anxiety will be cured, all from just doing this semen retention that these same guys admit actually has no evidence for working in like the science community. But like I said, I just feel like so much of this comes from fragile masculinity. Lots of people who suffer from this looking for an answer, but as we're going to get into a bit later, it also does come from like old Eastern religion, specifically Taoism. And now I want to move on to like more of these like influencers who talk about this stuff. So there's a guy called Self-Developed, 190k subs, and he's uploaded a video called 3 Insane Benefits of Retention. This stuff is obviously like more anecdotal evidence this stuff works, but it's also just like really hilarious the way they describe this stuff. So let's get into this guy's video first.
So number 1, guys, this is boldness. Being bold, being audacious. Is that the word? Having this audacity, this I don't really care attitude. What I noticed, guys, once I hit around 2 weeks or so on semen retention, is just this unwavering sense of purpose, of direction, like an arrow, and nothing else matters. And now sometimes this can come across as a little standoffish, a little mean, a little rude, and really it's not at all. It's actually purely out of love. It is just such an intense focus, this indifference to what people are thinking, what they're saying. You really have these blinders on. And again, it's not being mean. It's not being callous. Not at all, dude. It's just having this, like I said, boldness or complete sense of direction. Benefit. This is charisma, right? Smiling. This is your ability to just kick it with random individuals. You know, I was just going for a walk before this video, and I ran into two friends from high school who I hadn't seen in, I don't know, probably a couple of years. And there's one guy, and he was with his girlfriend, or I don't know, maybe they were dating. I don't really know. But just the amount of charisma you will exude, right? In your speech, in the way you hold yourself, you'll become very animated, right? And I kept looking over the girl every so often because I was primarily talking to the guy, and you could just see in her eyes like the glitter, just the joy, just the excitement reflecting, right? Do you understand? It's really just all you. She can see the life. Women are very good at telling this when a man is full of this bounce. The conversations are just more fun, and there's a twinkle in your eye.
Now, for a guy like this who's talking about like how much confidence it gives you, charisma this stuff gives you, and like boldness, also tying back to my like omega male and sigma male, I love how these guys often like normalize really bad qualities, and this is something you see a lot with these retention videos. They're saying it makes you like more who you are, and not caring what other people think of you in a way that seems problematic, in that you just normalizing your bad behavior and acting like, well, that's just the real me, deal with it. Because as most people know, in social situations, you have to adapt to like the vibe or who's there. You don't just act like 100% yourself around, like, I don't know, your parents or your grandparents or your friends. You have like a different version of yourself. No matter how close that often is to each version, it is different. Like, as someone who considers myself like really genuine in a lot of settings, obviously I still have a face for different environments. This is not a positive quality, but these guys always normalize it. But this could just be a placebo effect, right? You're doing this thing and you've read all online that these people all get more charisma, they become more bold, they become more engaging, women notice it, and then maybe you start to think that as well. It's obviously not based on anything, but placebo is a weird thing that often does work. But then it always ties back to women. So his old high school friend like noticed him more, and it seemed like she was more engaged with what he was saying just because he has done retention. Again, it's so bizarre. Like, how can you connect it back to this one bizarre thing? And of course, it's just pseudoscience. And as we covered in the other video, the extent of where this goes, you would not even believe. Like, it's just absolutely insane where they take this stuff, because they believe like your seed is energy, and if you're wasting your energy, it like goes away forever, but if you hold on to it, you can enter the quantum realm. I am not joking. Lots of people engaged with this sort of content actually believe this stuff. So one more video I want to show you is someone who titled it "No-Fap, Why Women Can Smell Retention on a Man," and I just like absolutely love this title. It's so creepy and really disgusting. But this guy also mentions like Jordan Peterson, and I feel like a lot of these people are in that orbit because of like the self-help stuff, like taking in personal responsibility. And I feel like retention is often an extension of that, because they feel like it's something you can personally do to improve your circumstances. Of course, it's something that's not going to improve your circumstances, but they feel like they're having more control over their life and improving their lives, like Jordan Peterson likes to tell people how to do, even though his life is a complete mess, by practicing this pseudoscience with its roots in Eastern religion.
I named this video "Why Women Can Smell Retention on a Man," right? And I named it that very precisely because retention is one of those things where you really can't fake it, right? You can't fake the results that you get. You can't fake the energy that you carry, the confidence, the level of comfort with your eye contact. All these things become very apparent as you continue on the journey of retention and you actually honor it and you discipline your lifestyle according to retention, right? You become the type of man that women really like. One of the first ways women can smell retention on a man is he starts to have a different energy about him, right? The way he moves through life is different now compared to before. Maybe you were more sunken into yourself. Your body language was not very expressive. Your vocal tonality was not as deep. All these little subtle signs that show that you are a man who's actually retaining and honoring his seed, right? Because what starts to happen is you start to have this heroic masculinity about you. I've used this term before, and I love that term because it encapsulates the theme of retention so well. I heard Jordan Peterson say this the other day, and I love what he said. You know, being successful and living a virtuous life is a lot about facing and focusing on things that most people don't want to look at, right? And retention is just one of those things where it's like you seek out the truth of everything, and it puts it right in your face.
So again, this is just like complete pseudoscience, and this one doesn't even go into much detail. I don't find it very convincing at all. That somehow doing retention will give women the vibe that you have more drive in life, you're a more worthy partner, you have more energy, like you've just smashed, I don't know, 2 months energy drinks before meeting them. Again, it's just really, really ridiculous stuff. And when I'm watching these videos, I'm just like, how can people even believe this? Like, seriously, how can people even believe this? And it's not even contextualized in anything like philosophy or anything like, I don't know, even religion. Like, I'm going to talk about the Taoism thing in a second. They don't even tie it to that. There's not even like a theory to go with this. It's literally just loads of personal anecdotes, like the video said at the start. But so many people believe this. So many celebrities practice this. I saw a video of Joey Badass, who plays Leon in Mr. Robot, like a really good like character, and he was talking about doing this. I've seen other celebrities talk about doing this, talk about the seed and talk about how much power it gives you and how precious it is. But again, completely not based in any science, no scientific studies to back it up. Even the popular misconception that doing this boosts your physical performance in sport has been debunked a lot of the time. GSP, the famous MMA fighter, has said that like he would only do this the night before a fight. Lots of people involved in these sorts of sports have said it honestly doesn't really matter as long as you kind of like keep it up about a day before your fight or your sport performance. So even that is like pseudoscience, but I guess at least you can understand why people maybe believe that a bit more. But with this stuff, it's just ridiculous. It's like somehow because you do not release your seed, women will inherently know that through what people say, like pheromones, but that's not true in this case. People say it gives you like more energy, but again, that's just based on pseudoscience and old superstition. And with NoFap itself, I can understand that. And in my videos covering NoFap, there is an element of conquering addiction. And that makes sense, right? This stuff is just purely to help yourself as a man get more women or conquer depression or make more friends or have more energy or be better at your job. So it's taking it to another level and taking it to a way more irrelevant and ridiculous level. So retention is something that's not even exclusive to Taoism. It's been in a lot of different religions around the world, but I want to focus on Taoism because it's made it quite popular. I've actually been reading a medieval history book I've talked about in other videos, and I actually read about like the origins and how Taoism became very popular in China because of their experimentations with like hallucinogenics. It actually helped China become way more advanced with medicine than a lot of other countries. It's very, very interesting how like Buddhism, Taoism, and other different religions were always competing for control in the different Chinese empires and territories during the medieval period. But Vice has done a good article just outlining this stuff, and then we're going to go into the retention subreddit. So type Taoist sex into any search engine and you will be greeted with an array of books, websites and courses and practitioners all promising you improved health, longer life and happiness galore. What's the secret? Well, if you're a man, it all comes down to retention. Taoists around the world practice retention during sex in the belief that this will fire up energy reserves in their body and make them better lovers. The approach may seem utterly bizarre, but retention is one of the founding principles of Taoist sexual practice. Taoist techniques are based on Fang Shu or Fang Zong Shu, which translates to inside the bedchamber, and was developed by Chinese wizards during or even before the Han Dynasty between 200 BC and 220 AD. To understand why Taoists feel it's so important for men to do retention, you need to know something about yin and yang. Fang Shu teaches that the masculine energy yang and the feminine energy yin replenish one another through sex, and this creates jing, a powerful energy. What's more, semen is regarded as a fluid that contains a lot of jing. In fact, the word jing is synonymous with that in China today, and it needs to stay in the body if it's going to nourish the brain in the process called Huan Jing Pu Lao. Should a chap lose his dillberry, he has effectively sprung a jing leak, and once lost, it's incredibly difficult to get it back. But what's even more worrying is that this energy can be absorbed by a partner and used to strengthen their own jing. The famous physician Sun Simiao wrote that men should be working towards taking on 10 partners in a single night without spilling a drop of jing juice if they are to remain in the optimum health. The classic of Su Nu goes one better and suggests that 10 rounds of belly bashing while doing retention will make a man immortal. So there is your theory for retention, but it's also interesting. None of these guys that I've watched recently talk about the Taoist element. They don't talk about the religious element. It's obviously clearly influenced by this, but how much these guys actually know about this element, or they're just parroting what other guys say. Because if you watch a lot of these videos on YouTube, all these guys say the exact same thing. Like, it's not someone who has like a vastly different experience. It's basically retention makes you more of a man, and it cures all ills and makes you more masculine and makes you more of an attractive partner. Where Taoism is actually a religion, and like that article said, isn't completely focused with the retention part. There are plenty of other things, like I said earlier, like medicines and all these different things that go back to like the Han Dynasty in ancient China and beyond. But we've looked at like YouTube videos, influencers, people who I guess aren't your average person, because I guess they're trying to make a career of this stuff. They're trying to make money, perhaps sell books. A lot of them do have links to courses in the descriptions. But let's look at your average person who does retention and what superpowers they tell us it gives them. So let's go into my own research. It now has 114,000, and it says, welcome brothers. Retention is an ancient practice used by a small percentage of the male population worldwide. It provides many benefits that are extremely useful to men regardless of your age, social or financial situation. The purpose of this sub is to discuss the physical and spiritual benefits of retaining. So let's start with this one. Grow faster on seed retention. This seed is amazing, boys. God really has given us everything. What this seed does is amazing. It is a living light and it is regenerative. The purpose of your seed is to reproduce or to regenerate and increase your vibration. When you hold your treasure in, boys, you gain multi-dimensional awareness. You can now exist on multiple planes at once. This is the stuff I was talking about earlier. It's like you are aware of many things at the same time. Realize that your organs talk. They all have a say in how you go about things, and when you are doing this, they are filled with light energy. They gain more intelligence, they gain more power, and become more potent. And you will notice this when you go out there. Your D talks, your stomach talks, your heart talks, your liver talks. I think this guy probably needs help if he thinks all his organs are talking to him. Women sense this more, and after about 35 days or so, most women become fascinated by you. They seem to be in awe of you. It's the energy. Do not give up your energy. They will go away after the act is done. Again, so ridiculous. Do these guys honestly think, like, they're so down this pseudoscience rabbit hole, they think women will automatically be in awe of you and be attracted to you literally just based on retention, like not based on your looks, not based on your personality, not based on how well you can hold a conversation, not even based on how compatible you are with them. It's literally because you have done semen retention, women will be in awe of you, because that's how science works, I guess. Because these people, like I said, do not live in the real world. This guy is talking about like living and existing on multiple planes of existence at once. This pseudoscience is like so bizarre because, like I said, they do not even frame it with the Taoist religion. It's literally just make up whatever the hell you want, take maybe some inspiration from Taoism, and then tell everyone else this is how you can get more women. So a comment underneath this made me laugh as well. For me, tension is like hacks. I feel on another level. Currently on my day 5, my best was 55 days, and all the points this guy's written happened to me. Girls were just crazy, super crazy. I was a magnet of good things. I tested it a couple times and the attraction starts to happen on the second week of retaining, but no edging. It should be a clean streak to accelerate the benefits. On the second week of retaining, you will get people staring at you, respecting you more. People are interested on you. Only positive things start to happen. On day 30, the benefits start to fade away, but they came back on day 37. I was a bit scared and almost relapsed, but nope. I kept going and the benefits were just 3 times stronger. All girls were on me. They were just around me all the time. But sadly, I'm 16, so I just stopped a bit because I need to be 18 for these things. Okay, so now I'm convinced that everyone who is like posting on this subreddit is actually a teenager who is just absolutely full of BS. So one more post I want to read for you. It's some more personal testimony with more evidence. Here's a picture of the guy. 1 year on retention, my experience, benefits, and advice. I've practiced retention for a year and want to give a concise overview of what I have learned and experienced experience on this journey, hoping you will find it useful to yours. Physical benefits. More defined facial features. My jawline is sharper, my cheekbones more pronounced, and my general facial appearance looks harder and manlier than ever. Deep eyes. They say your eyes are the seat of your soul, and on retention your soul regains its purity. My eyes look deep and full, and when I hold eye contact with people, it's like they can feel my energy. Glowing skin. In the past, my skin would often take on a yellow, greyish tone. Now it looks vibrant and radiant. I view this as the light inside of me being back on and manifesting itself in my physical expression. Increased athletic performance. There's a reason why retention is popular practice in martial arts. It gives you a well of energy to draw from, which will allow you to push for your limits. The version of you that's retaining will always outcompete the version of you that's not. Random benefits, more attracted to the world. Not only will you find women are more drawn to you, but you'll also become more magnetic to favorable circumstances. Kids and animals can also sense your energy, so since they are more in tune. Random coincidences. So many coincidences have happened to me that I just laugh when they do now. For example, thinking of a person you haven't seen in ages, and then you see them the next day or they text you. It just sounds like with everything in this, if you think about it kind of like a placebo, then it's just like some sort of confirmation bias. So I feel like after reading all those posts and you guys getting, I guess, a good insight into what retention is, there is a massive difference between NoFap and retention. Because like I said, things that people get addicted to, no matter what they are, can absolutely completely ruin your life. And if NoFap is the step you have to take to conquer your addiction, then I guess that is a good thing. I'm not addicted to anything like that. It's not a step I'd really consider, but if that helps people, then of course I believe, that is a good thing for them personally, because addiction completely sucks. But this retention stuff, I think, is steeped in toxic masculinity, fragile masculinity, a lot of misogyny as well, and of course, completely irrelevant pseudoscience, which is from a religion that started like over 2,000 years ago. But these guys don't even really talk about the religious side. So it just seems like they built on that and just made a bunch of stuff out. And like these guys have constantly said, this is all personal anecdotes online. There is no evidence for this. There is no science backing this up. It's just people doing this thing and then, I guess, thinking it's giving them more powers. Like if they have become more successful with women in the period of time where they've been doing this thing, they think it's because of this thing, when it's obviously nothing to do with this thing, but they think it is. If they, I don't know, have become better at sports, if they are working out more, if they are eating more healthily, if they have more energy, they think it's because of these things. And again, it could be a placebo effect, like they genuinely are getting some sort of like boost from believing this is actually helping them, or what is more likely, it's some sort of confirmation bias when they've read this stuff can really help you do all these things. And if these good things happen to them, they will thank this for doing it. So again, it's just like completely bizarre. So many people believe in this stuff. And I think it shows how poorly our society is failing people with educating them about science and medicine. Of course, we're seeing that in the world right now, where so many people, probably in your own life, you thought wouldn't be susceptible to medical misinformation, are being completely influenced by maybe like influencers like Joe Rogan or Russell Brand. And if you believe in the stuff they're peddling, you would also probably be more susceptible to believing in this stuff. Now, I say it wouldn't be as damaging going the other way, but if you start believing in this type of thing and then doubting like all medical science, because like these people say there is no science backing this up, then that is a dangerous path to go on. And it's not surprising people like Russell Brand, who have always been kind of like involved in some of these Eastern practices, which have this focus on like retention and like spiritual healing and often prioritizing holistic medicines, do start doubting very well-established medical science, and then they start influencing people and making others doubt it as well. But that is like the serious side to this stuff. I guess on like a less relevant level, if these guys think this like helps them in any way, I mean, I guess that's fine, although it is healthier not to do retention. It actually reduces the chance of prostate cancer, so don't feel bad for not buying into this retention nonsense, because the only science about this stuff is positive against retention. But if these guys are happier doing this, if they are more successful in life, if they have more success with women, then that's great. But I feel like it's really stupid to sell this as a solution to everyone's problems. And if somehow you do this, then your depression will go away, then you'll be better at your job, then you'll be more successful with women, and women will automatically like you based on this physical trait. So you also don't actually have to improve your personality, your manners, your social skills. Just do retention and you'll be fine. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Is there anything like this you'd like me to cover next? I kind of want to cover like these retention influencers who are promoting all these courses and books next. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to follow me on social media, at the Kavernacle on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to support me on Patreon, check that out in the description. If you want to join our community, check out the subreddit. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.